Well, it's the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, when the weekend comes, we are in the hands of Michael Snyder out in California. Hi there, Michael. How are you?
I'm good, Alex, and Hands and Heart and all the rest are on board for film reviews and such. What's up with you?
Nothing much. Let's have at it and get it over with.
Oh, great. It's like pulling teeth with you, pal. Despicable Me 3. Talk about despicable. Well, the latest sequel in the amusing animated series about the soft-hearted villain Gru and his antic minions, and boy, have they turned into a big deal. This introduces his long-lost twin brother, Drew, like Gru, voiced by Steve Carell, and Drew wants to team up with Gru and convince him to go on one last criminal heist because Gru has kind of cleaned up his act over the course of these movies. He's married, is still a doting father to 3 orphans that he adopted. It's all very charming, and so he doesn't want to screw things up. Of course, that doesn't kind of jibe with the fact that he was just kicked out of the spy force, the Black Ops group, the secret agent organization, which he had kind of been committed to because of screwing up now and again in his attempt to stop the latest supervillain, Balthazar Bratt, who was a former 80s child star who so is overcome with self-loathing that he's going to kind of let it all out on the rest of the world. By the way, Balthazar Bratt, voiced by South Park's Trey Parker, actually pretty funny, and all the jokes work for a while. Now, you've also got Kristen Wiig as Gru's wife, again, a very competent agent on her own, but she takes the fall with Gru and is kicked out of the spy agency. Steve Coogan as their boss. You even get Julie Andrews as Gru's mom, which I think is kind of a bit of a coup. Anyway, it's the same writers. And the one director who has been part of the production team since the start, Pierre Coffin, and that includes the Minions origin movie that he was also a part of. And Pierre Coffin is the voice of the Minions, such as those voices are. I mean, there's a unity of sensibility and antic humor that I have enjoyed over the course of this series, even if the formula of the kindly villain turned loving, dutiful dad with the agent wife, it's getting a little frayed around the edges. I mean, it's product, baby, and it feels like it. And, of course, the not-so-secret weapon of the franchise, the Minions, whose own origin film has actually surpassed the $1 billion mark, earning more than the other Despicable Me movies. They're dutifully trotted out here, and they still have massive kid appeal. So, you know, if you've got kids and you kind of like the other movies, it's hard to say this sucks, because it doesn't. But, again, product, and we have been here before. Nonetheless, it does have the energy. I'm on the fence about it, but compared to some other animated films I've seen over the past few years, not bad. Let's move on to something that I can thoroughly get behind, Baby Driver. British director Edgar Wright was the guy who basically was the director and co-writer of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and The World's End, and he also wrote the original script for Marvel's Ant-Man before being kind of shuffled off the project for the deadly creative differences, whatever they are, although he still got some credit for writing the script. He is incredibly talented. He's right in my wheelhouse in terms of his comic sensibility, and he has turned around and delivered an unconventional crime thriller about a young getaway driver who's caught up in the criminal world and decides he wants to get out. And this guy, Baby, that's his name, or his nickname, is played by Ansel Elgort, who was recently hired to play the young Han Solo in the Star Wars prequel film about the roguish spacefaring con artist, originally played by Harrison Ford. So he's on a bit of a roll. Great supporting cast here. I mean, the hopes for Baby Driver that I had were rewarded. Fantastic ride. It's kind of a post-Tarantino movie with crime hijinks of the highest order. There was top-notch action, car chases that the Fast and Furious films would be proud of stealing, incredible soundtrack songs that are kind of deftly wedded to the visuals, including There's a tracking shot, Alex, that I think you're going to love, done to the sound of Harlem Shuffle. It was so good, I actually got giddy watching it. And the cast, like I said, pretty ideal. Apparently, Baby's a good guy, but he made a big mistake when he crossed the criminal mastermind played by Kevin Spacey, and has been forced to take on the wheel on a variety of heists. And Spacey's gang, which he shuffles around a little bit, is portrayed by, among other people, Jamie Foxx, John Hamm, and John Bernthal. They're all terrific. And Lily James, who you may remember from Downton Abbey, and has been in a couple other films of late, including playing the title role of Disney's Cinderella live-action film. She's the object of Baby's desire. She's pretty wonderful. So, is it a heist movie? Yes. Is it a car chase-filled action movie? Yep. Coming-of-age movie, romance, kind of a musical, too, in a way. There's a bit of Grand Theft Auto energy about it, which I think gamers are going to like. All in all, it crackles. It's kind of the cinematic equivalent of downing a six-pack of energy drinks. And I'm telling you, that's a compliment. I really enjoyed Baby Driver. Equally pleasing in a very different way is something you can actually watch on Netflix, but is also in theaters. Okja. Okja is a bold, ambitious, and zany, terribly original movie with a whole lot of heart. And the latest from the Korean director Bong Joon-ho, who previously brought us The Host and Snowpiercer, among other things. And it's kind of an eco-conscious satire and action movie and creature feature that couldn't have been made with such technical elegance a few years ago. Very original, an impressive collection of Western and Eastern actors make up the cast, including as a vicious set of twins running a heartless corporation that deals in, among other things, bacon. Tilda Swinton, Paul Dano as an eco-terrorist, Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead as a fellow eco-terrorist, Lily Collins, not to be confused with Lily James, as one of the eco-terrorists, Shirley Henderson, Giancarlo Esposito, and Jake Gyllenhaal, completely unhinged as the spokesperson of the corporation that is supposed to be kind to animals and loving. He's sort of one of those sort of Marlon Perkins types, but he's in fact working for the vicious corporation. So the deal is they create genetically modified pigs, and they send them out into the world to various places and let people kind of nurture them. And then when they're big enough, 10 years later, they want to find the best of all the pigs. So it turns out that the best of the pigs is Okja, raised by the South Korean farmer and his granddaughter. And I'm telling you, this is a very sweet movie. An impressive young actress plays the girl. I guess her name is An Soo-hun. And there's this intelligent, gigantic, empathic super pig that's her pet. And they come to take the pig away, and that sets the whole plot into motion. Terrific. Dark, funny, sharp, exciting, topical. Pretty much loved every movie Bong has directed. And even though this is a change of pace, no less inspired than his other stuff. And again, the tech helps make this giant pig seem real. In the past, that might have been too difficult to make and achieve the suspension of disbelief. But, man, I thought Okja was really good. And, again, you can watch it on Netflix. It's pretty off the wall. We'll wrap things up with a couple films quickly. The Little Hours is a very strange and bizarre conceit. It's nuts in the best possible way. A weird but period-reverent adaptation of part of Boccaccio's Decameron, set in the Middle Ages or medieval times, basically around a convent in Italy. It's funny and screwy and kind of unlike anything I've seen in its faithfulness of spirit and setting, but thoroughly modern line readings. Medieval nuns are played by Alison Brie, Aubrey Plaza, and Kate Micucci, and their Mother Superior is Molly Shannon. The father at the convent is played by John C. Reilly, and a local nobleman who gets involved in the action is played to a fare thee well by Nick Offerman. You also have in the cast Fred Armisen, Jemima Kirk, Adam Pally, Paul Reiser. It's crazy, but the damn thing works for me. I don't know that everybody's going to love it, and I think it's probably going to be streaming fairly soon. But because I don't know what the audience for it is going to be. But I really enjoyed the Little Hours, very twisted, very kind of perverse way. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Let's close out with 13 Minutes, which is a straight-up wartime docudrama from one of my favorite directors. No frills and very little fuss, but it worked. Director Oliver Hirschbiegel has made some serious noise with Downfall prior to this film. Downfall is his powerful and acclaimed look at the last days of Adolf Hitler in the bunker, and now he looks at another crucial moment during Germany's Third Reich and the life of this dictator with this award-winning docudrama. It's a very revealing film. And it's very tense, and it involves the preparation, execution, and aftermath of a failed attempt by one decent German man to assassinate Hitler in November 1939. It goes back and forth in time, from his incarceration to the events as he recounts them to his captors. And I'm telling you, this was pretty fascinating. I had no idea about this assassination plot, or not about the details at very least. And I thought that this was a pretty cool film. Again, it's subtitled German film, but, Downfall reached a lot of people, and people dug it. I think people are going to like 13 Minutes, those who like this sort of thing. What are you watching? What are you up to, buddy?
Nothing. Have absolutely nothing. It's the doldrums of summer.
No movies and no TV?
Nothing. Zero.
Well, all right. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, that's it.
Okay, well, let's wrap it then. I will be back hopefully next week, and in the meantime, you can check me out on Twitter at Culture Blaster and on Facebook at Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page.
Thank you very much, Michael. And there's more GABNet coming right up, ladies and gentlemen.